Hello everyone, welcome back to another Doctor Who unboxing video. Yes, the Space-Time Telegram post has delivered Doctor Who, The Collection, Season 13. Yes, so the way this video is going to work, I'm going to take a look at, unbox this, take a look at the presentation of the box set, give you my thoughts on the stories, and then we'll do a disc breakdown talking about the new features that feature on this collection set. And I will do a collection lineup, whether that's the 1970s or a Fourth Doctor lineup. I don't know which lineup I'm going to do. I'm going to figure that out. And stay tuned to find out which one I pick out of those. So yeah, let's unbox Season 13. I think this has been a long time coming. I think a lot of us have been sort of fearing that Season 13 was going to be like one of the last collection sets, because they did it with Terror of the Zygons. They left us waiting to complete Season 13, and here it is. And I think that 2025 is probably a fine vintage for the collection sets, you know, having Season 7, my personal favourite, you know, season of the show. I utterly adore it, and now arguably Season 13 for many the definitive classic season. You know, this is Tom Baker, you know, one of his best seasons ever, and who am I to argue, because it is a really good classic. And I'm going to stop yapping and we're going to unbox it. So let's free it from its time tunnel cardboard packaging, and here it is, Season 13. Look at that. We have the artwork by Lee Binding, and I will say this, with the artwork, I was so sure we'd get sort of the Pyramids of Mars look for the Fourth Doctor, and to me that's Tom Baker's Doctor, that look. That's his sort of definitive costume for me. So we've gone for the Terror of the Zygons sort of Tam O'Shanter look there, and the sort of backdrop cover for the sort of the artwork for the back of the cover, that's sort of the Zygon screen. So it's a very sort of a Terror of the Zygon sort of motif for the cover. So yeah, Fourth Doctor looking very sort of whimsical there. And then we have some of the great monsters that feature within this season. So we've got Sutek, of course. We've got the antimatter monster, the Krynoid, the Kralls, and of course Proton. And then Morbius, love Morbius, and of course one of the Siren mommies. That's rather lovely. So I'm going to take the cellophane off, and then we'll take a closer look at the actual box set itself. Season 13 has been freed from its cellophane pod. How many Season 13 references can I get in this video? Who knows? We'll see how we get on. So, taking a look at Season 13, like I say, that is the artwork, the side Season 13. This is an 8-disc set. And then we have Continue Your Doctor Who archive with the Ultimate Collector's set with Terror of the Zygons, Planet of Evil, Pyramids of Mars, Android Invasion, Brain of Morbius, and The Siege of Doom. All 26 episodes newly restored for Blu-ray and packed with extra material. And here's some of the extra material we get within it, and we'll do a closer look at that in a minute. So let's remove the J-card so we can take a look at the clean artwork for this set. And yeah, that does look very nice. I think this artwork's definitely grown on me seeing it in person. Grown, like the Krynoid. There's another one. But yeah, I think that it definitely looks better in hand. I think I wasn't too keen on it, because I think we all have an image of what this season would have looked like, and yeah, definitely gone for something a little bit sort of left field with it, really. So that's the artwork, and I'm very excited to know what's on the back for this, because I'm always sort of curious to know what Lee's cooked for this. So let's see what we've got. Oh, okay, we've gone for Planet of Evil. That's pretty nice, with sort of is it Zeta minor or major? So that's really nice there with the Fourth Doctor and Sarah in the jungle there. That's pretty darn cool. As jungles go, that's very cool. So let's open this setup and we'll take a closer look. So we've got the booklet tray being sort of Pyramids of Mars, which, you know, is great. That is probably the best story of the season, possibly, from what I'm thinking. That's what my gut's telling me. And we've even got a little mommy poking out there, which is pretty nice little Easter egg there. So let's take a look at the discs. So of course we've got Terror of the Zygons there, which is very nice. A really strong opener for the season. I think that it's such a great opener, that story, and it was one of the last Tom Baker stories I need to see to complete his era, and yeah, what a way to complete that. Then we have Planet of Evil, Fourth Doctor and Sarah. I'm going to be honest, this is probably my least favourite of the season. I think that the first 2 episodes are really strong, and then something happens midway through part 3 where I just don't become that interested in it. I think, you know, it's a strange one for me. It's that sort of one where I just can't really get into all that much. And here we go, Pyramids of Mars, absolute classic, great story. Then we've got Sarah there in the iconic dress, Jackal-head Sutekh and one of the mummies. So that's really neat. So what is the next disc? Of course, we've got a bit of a Bohemian Rhapsody thing going on there with Marcus Scarman and the Fourth Doctor. That's rather cool, isn't it? So yeah, very nice to see Pyramids get a bit more loving. Then of course one of the iconic moments from the Android Invasion with the Fourth Doctor tied up there. And I think the Android Invasion, it's an underrated story. I think that there's a lot to love. It's a bit like a Pertwee story, but it's this sort of quaint English village with these strange happenings going on. But yeah, I think it's quite an underrated story, Android Invasion. I do quite enjoy it. Maybe it's a bit of a guilty pleasure. And then the Brain of Morbius. Oh, that's a nice bit of artwork, isn't it? With the Fourth Doctor there, with his yo-yo Sarah and the Morbius creature. I love the Brain of Morbius. I've been saving, I wanted to watch Brain of Morbius for a long time, but I was like, no, it's coming out on the collection set, I'll wait. And what perfect time for this box to come out in October, with sort of the Frankenstein themes of this. And yeah, this is the Gothic horror season and a perfect sort of treat for Halloween. And then we have the Siege of Doom, with Sarah there and the Crinoid. I love the Siege of Doom. I think, again, that could be my second favourite of the season. I think that is just a real great six-parter. That sort of world hopping in it is just really brilliant. And then disc 7 now, of course, we have the lovely sort of photo from episode 1 of the Siege of Doom. Yeah, that's rather lovely. And if we just remove the discs, of course we have that lovely familiar face of Tom Baker in the title sequence. Moving on to the booklet, like I said, we've got this sort of Pyramids of Mars booklet going on. So if we open it up, we've got a Siege of Doom inspired sort of little backdrop there with the Fourth Doctor and Sarah and the Crinoid attacking the house there. And of course we've got some advertisement stuff. So what's the advertisement stuff got to say? Of course, Fourth Doctor, big finish, and I guess sort of season 13 related stuff with Zygons, Bernice, Planet Crinoid, fantastic box set, Morbius, and the Box of Delights, Titan Comics. What other stuff we got in here? Lost in Time, season 13, the Target book, audiobooks, and 15th Doctor Sonic Screwdriver, the Art of Time Travel, and what other stuff we got in here? The Escape Room, some Doctor Who books, and Doctor Who magazine, and some Doctor Who sort of themed sort of merch from Forbidden Planet. And if we just remove the booklet like so, we'll take a closer look at that in a minute. And we have the TARDIS there with Sutekh, the Jackal-head version. No Dog is sort of on that TARDIS right now. He's just a Jackal-head instead of the weird sort of Sutekh design we saw in the Shooting Outward era. So let's take a look at the booklet. So let's open the booklet up and see what is going on inside. So we've got a little introduction by, I guess, Pete McTeague about the season there. So of course we have Terror of the Zygons telling us all the usual stuff, what features on this disc, the sort of development of the story. That's a lovely photo of Tom and Nick Courtney. And then of course the sort of production of it, and there we go, some lovely artwork there of Terror of the Zygons. What a great design the Zygons are. They're just some of the best sort of costumes, aren't they? And of course the production side of the story, and of course the reception and the after image of the story there. And then again, same sort of Planet of Evil with the special features, the production of the story there, and that lovely bit of artwork there for the story, reception, and the after image there, and of course Pyramids of Mars for disc 3 and 4. Again, all the same sort of stuff with the development, reception, and production. And this lovely bit of artwork for Pyramids of Mars. That's a lovely bit of artwork as artwork goes. That's great. And yeah, great Tom costume. And for me, like I said, the definitive look for the Fourth Doctor. That's how I imagine the Fourth Doctor in the Pyramids of Mars costume there. And then of course Android Invasion, the lovely Kral, or Krogs, yeah, Kralls. Always get mixed up with the ones in Sharda. And there we go, a little bit more of Android Invasion artwork, that brilliant moment of Android Sarah, the reception, the production, and of course the Brain of Morbius. There we have Philip Maddock there, brilliant. And of course we've got the omnibus version, which will be quite interesting to watch. And then some lovely Brain and Morbius artwork. That's really cool. Look at that. That is really neat with the Morbius Doctors. Yeah, big fan of that. That's some lovely artwork from Lee Binding. And then, of course, for Seeds of Doom, disc breakdown, production, all that sort of stuff there. And, of course, we have some artwork for the Seeds of Doom. And then a bit more about the after image of the story there. And then the back there with the Morbius Doctors. That's quite a neat little touch there. Disc breakdown now for season 13. So at disc 1 we have the usual DVD extras, what you'd expect for the respective stories. So in terms of new special features, we have an audio commentary with Tom Baker and Toby Haydock, optional replacement effects for episodes 2 and 4. It's huge, recreating the Scarrison documentary, Disney Time BBC News announcement of William Hartnell's death, Behind the Sofa, which is on pretty much all of these stories, which features Colin Baker, Janet Fielding, Toby Haydock, Katie Manning, Sadie Miller, Maureen O'Brien and Sarah Sutton, trails and continuities, location and sound rushes, updated production subtitles, photo gallery in HD and some PDF material as well. In terms for disc 2, Planet of Evil, for new special features we have Return to 13 documentary, which I think is one of the main features for this Blu-ray set, which is going to be very cool, sort of a tour through some of the locations and people that feature within this season, so that'll be very exciting. And then we have Behind the Sofa, Trails and Continuities, production subtitles, photo gallery in HD and PDF material. Disc 3, The Pyramids of Mars, this is your 4-episode version. So in terms of new special features for disc 3, I don't believe that there is any new features for that. I think disc 4 is when you get the new features, which are the omnibus version of the Pyramids of Mars, the Tales from the TARDIS Pyramids of Mars version, Tom Talks documentary, where Tom Baker basically has asked a load of questions sort of relating to the themes and topics of season 13, which would be very cool. And then we have the Panopticon Archive and Doctor Who The Collection season 13 trailer. For disc 5, The Android Invasion. For new special features we have audio commentary with Tom Baker and Toby Haydock, and then one feature I'm really excited to watch, and again I think this is the other big feature for this box set, which is World Within the Life of Ian Marter documentary, because Ian Marter, Harry Sullivan, what a great character, and it's a little bit of a shame that Harry's time was cut short, so it'd be great to sort of know a little bit more about Ian Marter. Then we have Behind the Sofa, the Generation Game excerpt from episode that was broadcast back in November 1975, Peter Murray's Open House, Trails and Continuity, updated production subtitles, photo gallery in HD and some PDF material. For the Brain of Morbius, for disc 6 we have the omnibus version, Behind the Sofa, Trails and Continuity and production subtitles, photo gallery in HD and PDF material. I don't know if I mentioned on the Pyramids of Mars one, but there is of course Behind the Sofa on that as well. And for disc 7 for the Seeds of Doom, this is your 6th episode restored HD. For new special features there is a Ken Dodd Seaside special excerpt, Crackerjack, 2 of those, Behind the Sofa, Trails and Continuity, updated production subtitles, photo gallery in HD and the coming soon trailer for the collection season 14, and then some PDF material. And then for disc 8 is the omnibus version of the Seeds of Doom, Graham Harper in conversation with Matthew Sweet, the escape room for the 4th Doctor with Toby Haydock, Michael E. Bryant and Matthew Waterhouse. And then we have the Merry-Go-Round Odyssey excerpt as well, and that contains some stuff involving the Terror of the Zygons. So those are the new features that feature on this. And here we have a 4th Doctor lineup. So this is what your 4th Doctor collection limited edition lineup looks like, and yeah, just season 16 to go now, and then we have completed Tom Baker's 7-year run as the Doctor. So yeah, it's shaping up nicely, and season 13, yeah, Philip Hinchcliffe era is complete, which is very, very satisfying. There we have it. That has been my unboxing of Doctor Who, the collection season 13, the season of gothic horror, and for many, the ultimate season of Doctor Who. So I can't wait to revisit this iconic series, or season I should say, and check out the new content really. I think that's going to be really exciting to see what they've done with the Scarrison for the new Terror of the Zygons, so that's going to be really cool. And to see the sort of overview of season 13, and to discover more about Ian Marter, which is going to be very cool, alongside these classic stories. So I cannot wait to dive in to this season. So yeah, like I say, 2025, what a great year for the collection. Season 7 and Season 13, two of the best classic seasons in Doctor Who. As somebody who is a massive fan of the 70s, that is my favourite decade of the show. We're eating good, we're eating good. So yes, thank you very much for watching this unboxing. Let me know your thoughts. So what is your favourite Season 13 story? Oh, and what special feature you're looking forward to watching? I'd be very interested to know. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and bye bye.